Hi everybody, this is Kathleen with the Purled Nest. This is episode 11, and big news, this one has a giveaway. So you want to watch to the end and see what you need to do to participate in the giveaway. It's a really amazing prize, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. So let's start off with welcoming our new viewers. So if you're a new viewer, thank you so much. If you've surfed in and found me, thank you. I hope I live up to your expectations. Actually, I hope I exceed your expectations. And if you're a returning viewer, well, super thank you, because that means you've watched before, you're interested enough to come back, and here you are. So thank you. Where can you find me? You can find, other than obviously YouTube, you can find me on Instagram as the Purled Nest. I am not on Facebook. I gave up Facebook a year ago. Almost like an addiction that you give up. I gave up Facebook, and it was one of the best things I ever did. So that's a whole other topic for probably the next podcast. You can find me on Ravelry as Specialkholla. That's Specialkholla. I am not super active on Ravelry. Really, I use it just to share my projects, kind of record really for myself the projects that I've done, so I can remember the yarns I've used, who I made it for, what it looked like, especially if I give it away, etc. Subscribing. If you wouldn't mind, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button, and also set the little bell so that it sets you notifications anytime I post a video. And if you wouldn't mind sharing this with your crafty friends who might also be interested in this podcast. I encourage anybody who is considering taking up podcasting to try it, because I'm in like my third or fourth iteration of locations, where I'm filming, what I'm filming, how I'm filming. So it's like the fourth iteration, and it's a process. The next time you see me, I may actually have a lavalier mic, because I'm finding that my mic that I have right now is not quite adequate, and the setup is not really adequate. And maybe one of these days I'll do a podcast on how I podcast, so you can see really most podcasters, it's kind of a weird setup that you have to kind of figure out in order to be able to podcast. But you came here for the knitting, you came here for the crafting, you came here for the yarn dyeing. That's what we're going to talk about, and the giveaway. Okay, so let's see. I haven't podcasted in a few weeks because I have been off doing fun things like life, right? This is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to have a life. And I have recently taken up playing golf, and I'm really enjoying that. I played my first 18 holes in the mountains in Colorado last weekend. I also had my first experience sailing a 22-foot Catalina, and I also rode my bike about 20 miles. So I had a really full weekend last weekend. It would normally have been when I probably would have been podcasting. So my apologies, but I was out having fun, which is really what this is supposed to be too. Let's start with finished objects and half-finished objects. So, as you know, I love to do my crochet squares. It's one of the things I do on my lunch break at work, or when I'm like waiting in the car for somebody, or at a doctor's office, or not that I have too many of those, but you know, when I'm waiting somewhere to do something, they're so nice and portable to fit. I mean, I take little minis and I put them in my purse, and I have my little crochet hook, and I make some more squares. So this is how many squares I've made since the last time I podcasted. Ugly, but super pretty. Sometimes the combinations, like, you think the gray and the green are going to look really good together, and then you put them together and you go, oh, I don't know. Well, it'll have a place in the blanket just like all the other squares. And then I have just gray. I have this really pretty combination. Actually, it's not a combination. It's just, that's the particular mini that I used. I have this fun one. That was super fun to crochet. I have this one, which is very yellow. And sometimes I have to combine too, because these are minis I'm using, and they're only 10 gram minis. So these little minis sometimes I think it kind of depends on the yarn dyer, the supplier they use, the weight of the yarn specifically. 10 grams can be a whole 2 squares, like, maybe get 2 solid squares out of one. Or it can be that I have to combine colors because I'll have like these little nuggets left and it won't be quite enough to do the full square. And I have to do something like this. Typically, this is what happens. Like I'll get almost all the way done, and that last round I'll have to do it another color. So, it kind of depends on how much yarn is in that 10 grams. So this is, actually, here's one where I got 2. I got 2 out of this 10 grams. And this one I got 2 out of the 10 grams. I almost wonder if maybe sometimes I crochet a little, like, looser. Maybe that's what it is. I mean, they all seem to be pretty much the same size. And then that's pretty. And this. And then this is a combo of the 2. So I got a whole bunch of these squares done. These are filled granny squares. They're basically double crochets all the way around. And then, of course, you have to do a couple extras in the corners. I don't know if you can see, but these are your corners where you're doing basically four double crochets into the corner, and you do a chain 2 in between the 2 sets of double crochets. Did that make sense? Probably not. Anyway, that's how you get the squares. There are patterns online for filled granny squares. Actually, there's a lot of really great patterns online for granny squares. Just find one you really like, and if you're like me and you have a lot of minis, go ahead and, make a blanket out of them. That's what I'm doing. It's a scrappy blanket. Okay, what else have I got? I have been asked to teach some classes at my local yarn shop. And my local yarn shop is My Sister Knits in Fort Collins, Colorado. And I have been asked to do some of my 2 at a time knitting. I do all my socks 2 at a time, mittens, anything that's sleeves, anything that is a tube that I can do in magic loop, I will do 2 at a time just because it saves me time, makes the project seem like it goes faster and like I'm getting a completed full object. So in other words, when I'm done, I have a pair of socks. I don't have one sock and then I have to do another sock. I have a pair of socks. So I was asked to teach a 2 at a time mittens class. And so I have to make samples up for these things. And I struggle actually with deadline knitting. I have to tell you, I am not a huge fan of deadline knitting. Having to have something, knitting is my zen, and that's going to be this next episode is going to be all about knitting as self-care. That's probably going to be maybe in 2 to 4 weeks. I'll have that next episode up. I'm kind of working that one out, but it's my self-care. And when I have to do something on a deadline, it's way less fun. So, and it also takes me away from doing the projects that I'm kind of really want to work on. But anyway, I was asked to do 2 at a time mittens, and I do enjoy making mittens. And normally making this sample up would have been a lot of fun, but I was then asked if I could match it to a cowl that they had already knit and maybe figure out a way to do the mittens 2 at a time. I didn't want to get into the complexities of like legit like Norwegian mittens, something like that, really complex, because I knew there's no way I could knit it quickly for a sample. So this is what I ended up doing. And you can see it is 2-color knitting for the cuff. And this is the inside. I am going to have to re-knit it. So they've taken the photos, which is good. So that's all done. But I'm going to re-knit the sample. And what I had done is I had gone down, like I typically do, 2 needle sizes to do the cuff. But I forgot that I was doing color work and that it ends up tighter. So what I should have done is just, these are size 10s and this is an 8. And I should have just done this on a 10 too, because when I do color work, I mean, I'm sure when I block it out it'll be a little better, but when I do color work it tends to be a little tighter just by the nature of the 2-color knitting and the floats behind it, and because it's only a knit one purl one actually, so it's not like there's big spaces that the floats have to go, but just the density of it and all that, it's kind of hard. Kind of hard to get your hand into. So I'm going to make another pair and just leave them there. I'm going to do them 100% fully and just get them all done and leave them at the shop. This is the Woodcutter's Daughter, I believe is what this is called. So can you see it has a little bit of cabling right there? I'll see if I can get a picture of the pattern and put it somewhere on the screen here. Maybe right where that album cover is. I'll put a picture of the pattern. But it's the Woodcutter's Daughter mittens. Super easy, really, really nice pattern. It just got a little more time consuming and complicated doing the 2 colors on the cuff. So, and honestly, it was a little bit tight too. So I'm gonna remake them, but this technically is a finished object because it's just a sample. I am going to remake them. Actually, I think that's it for finished objects. So I talked about the knitting class. The knitting class is going to be on October 30th. Today is October 3rd. The knitting class will be on October 30th, which is a Saturday, at my sister Knits, and it's going to be from 1 to 3, I'm pretty sure. So it's going to be a 2-hour class. It is bulky yarn, so the idea is that I'm teaching a technique. I'm not teaching you how to make mittens. So you're coming to the class, if you're local, you're coming to the class to learn how to do the 2 at a time technique more than anything. And then you just apply that to pretty much any tubular project. Okay. So let's get into works in progress. I'm not sure how long this is going to be. Hopefully this won't be a super long one. But let's talk about works in progress. I already talked about wanting to redo the mittens, and I am going to do them 2 color as well. I'm just going to do them whole thing on a size 10. So I'm not going to go down a needle size or 2 for the cuffs. And the others, works in progress, of course, are the crochet squares because I'm always working on those. I have not touched my husband's socks, literally, because, hello, deadline knitting. So let's talk about the Anker sweater. Yay! I am on to the sleeves. So here's the sweater. I just literally, this is just fresh, like just this morning, I just bound off the bottom this morning. So this is in the yarn that I dyed. I got the yarn from Dyer Supplier. It is a non-superwash merino wool, and it was dyed using cochineal. And if you watch past episodes, I do talk about the dyeing process, and I do show a little bit of it, and I talk more in depth about the yarn itself. But this is the Anker sweater, my size. And I'll throw it on for you real quick, because it fits like a glove. And you can see I still have to do the sleeves. So, when I see people's projects and I see that the neck is super gappy, it's usually something that I don't want to work on, because when I make a sweater, if I'm going to use merino wool and make a sweater, it's going to be cozy. And so I want the neck to come up a little bit higher, unless it's specifically like something lighter weight and I'm going to be wearing it in the shoulder seasons, and I don't necessarily want something close fitting. This was one that I really wanted close fitting. So I was really happy because I saw some people's Anker sweater my size in their pictures. It is more open at the neck, and then you can, so in some cases they actually have to wear like a cami or something underneath it. I am so happy that mine turned out like this. Now it's not blocked yet, so it'll change with blocking. I'm hoping it'll just, make the stitches a little more balanced and even. I think they look pretty even now, actually. But I am really loving how it turned out, and I'm loving the way it's fitting, and it's not itchy at all around my neck. It's a really nice yarn. And you can see I have some waist yarn here that I have the sleeves on. So the next part of this will be the sleeves. And like I said, I do them 2 at a time. But let's take this off real quick. Now I'm all staticky. So when you're doing a sweater sleeves 2 at a time, you've gotten to the point, and by the way, I'm not sure if I'm doing 3/4 sleeves or full length. I think I'm probably doing 3/4 length sleeves. We'll see. But typically when you start a sleeve in the pattern, it has you start at the underarm. pretty much dead center of the underarm. So down here. So here's my collar, here's my body, and here is the sleeve, and this is the center of the bottom of the underarm. So what I would do with it facing me, where's my marker? There it is. I can't remember if this one has me start with the front facing or the back facing. It doesn't really matter. All you're going to do is you're going to use a very long needle, probably because this is more than you would have with a sock, say. I'd probably use a 60-inch needle to do this, and I have interchangeables, so I can make it as pretty much as long as I need it. Anyway, I'll make the cable as long as I can using the extender, and I will pick up right where it tells me to. I will pick up my stitches in this bottom of the center of the bottom of the sleeve, and then go around one side of the sleeve, just like a sock. When you're casting on 2 at a time socks, you're going to do your first one that you're going to do is going to be half of sock 1, and then I will go to the other sleeve, and you do have to kind of fold them together in order to accomplish this, because you're going to end up with these 2 sleeves like this on your needles. Well, it totally probably doesn't make sense, but then what I'm going to do is pick up all of the stitches for the second sleeve, pull the cable through on this end once I've got them all cast on, so that I can, splitting this in half, so just the first half, then pull the cable through, and then the second half, and then I will pick up the second half of the first sleeve. So if you've ever knit socks 2 at a time, it will totally make sense. I'm probably speaking complete gibberish to people who have never done them before 2 at a time. So I would recommend you look for video tutorials out there for knitting. Start with socks 2 at a time, because literally it's just a tube, right? So sleeves are just like one great big sock, except you're gonna have decreases or increases or whatever. So I'm going to do this just like I do a pair of socks, same exact way. So you'll see the progress on this, hopefully, because it's DK weight. Hopefully you will see these maybe in the next podcast. It'll be all done, I'm hoping, because hopefully I'll have the mittens done too at the same time. So that is the Anker sweater my size. That is my goal, is to do 2 at a time sleeves, probably 3/4 sleeves, and I love this. I absolutely love it. I'm gonna get so much wear out of this. It's a great color for like wearing with a black skirt or black slacks or gray or something like that. It's just a really cool piece, and I'm really enjoying it, and I'll probably make another one actually. And so I think that's it for my works in progress. Let's see. We're on to page 2 of 3. So I have a question for you guys. You remember when I made this Felix cardigan? It's all done, and I think I modeled it in one of my past episodes. This Felix cardigan is using yarn from Dyer Supplier. This is also bulky weight. I think it's their Elegance. I'm pretty sure it's their Elegance base, which is merino wool, silk, and mohair. And you're not going to see it here, unfortunately. But so the question I have for you, I don't even know how to. I feel like I've been knitting long enough. I should know the answer to this, but. So I've knit this beautiful sweater that I so enjoy wearing, and it's getting to be the perfect season to wear it now. The problem is it has mohair in it. And the things I want to wear this with are maybe dark colored or solid. Like I'm seeing some of this right now. Dark colored or solid colored or whatever. This is blocked. It has been washed. It has been blocked, shaken out, whatever. I actually worn it like 3 or 4 times now, and literally had to go to the store at work, go across the street to Target and buy a lint roller because I got warm in the office or whatever. I took it off and I was covered with mohair. So, and I can feel it on me right now. Like all I did was hold it up against me and I can feel it on me right now. I probably have a halo of it. There's a fluff ball right there. Like, how do you get rid of the excess mohair? When you make a mohair sweater, because there's so many people out there who love mohair, knit with a lot of mohair, love to knit with mohair, love to wear mohair. I get it. Me too. I love it. But I'm not sure how often I'll do it for garments that I'm going to be wearing like this, because I have to just putting it on for a minute and taking it off. And I have to lint roller all over myself because there's so much fluff all over me. And on the parts of your body where it rubs, like under your arms here, there'll be like clumps of mohair there. Clumps. Okay. The image you're probably getting in your head right now is probably not what you want. Anyway, clumps of mohair right here. So, what do you guys do? Mohair everywhere. How do you solve this problem? I'm thinking to myself, maybe in its dry stage, putting it in a air dry in the dryer, and I have wool balls. I don't use fabric softener, I use wool balls. Maybe that's not the right thing to use. I'm thinking maybe I throw it in the dryer on air, not any kind of heat whatsoever, dry, and kind of let the dryer beat out some of the mohair, the excess mohair. Or should I leave the dryer balls in when I do that? I don't think I want to put it in with damp clothes or other clothes because that'll cause friction, which will potentially felt it because this is non-superwash. So how do you solve that problem? When you make a beautiful pullover or a cardigan that has mohair in it, how do you keep from having all that mohair transfer onto your clothing underneath? I want to be able to wear this sweater. I love this sweater. It's so soft. It is so cozy. It is so comfortable. And the intention was that it would be like a staple piece that when I'm, around the house or whatever, I can just, like if I was chilly right now, which it is kind of a little bit chilly in here, so maybe I'll put it on. The season is changing, so I got a notification. Season's changing, so another notification. So the intention was that this would be something. Could you see that fluff? Seriously. The intention is that this is something I can just throw on and be cozy in the house or cozy at work or whatever. And I love this sweater. I want to make more of this sweater. I just don't know if I'll make any more with mohair, even though it's literally so cozy. I'm so enjoying wearing it. But I'll take it off and yeah, I've got mohair all over me. So how do you solve that problem? How do you get rid of the excess mohair when you've knit something? I would love to know because I want to be able to do more with mohair. I did make that's the Felix cardigan. What was that pullover I made? I don't think that was a Felix. That might have been, I think I made the Felix pullover too. A couple episodes back. That had mohair in it too, but that mohair was held double with regular yarn. This one is yarn that in the strand blended together is mohair, silk, and merino. Maybe that's the difference because I didn't hold merino separately. It's actually the blend in the strand of yarn is mohair, silk, and merino. Maybe that's the difference. I don't know. You tell me. How do you solve that mohair problem? Because I love it. I want to use it. But I don't want to be like having to roller my clothes at work because that's awkward. Okay, so share below. I would love to hear from you. The next thing I want to talk about is, this is big for me. I've been knitting for over 20 years and I am just now learning how to knit without looking at my work. And I did it on my Anker sweater. So I am starting to notice I'm 55 and I've been in progressives for 10 years now, so that's not really a big deal, having to, hold things far away or whatever. I actually can't even wear my glasses when I'm filming because if I do, you're right here. In case you didn't know, you're right here. You're probably about I don't know, three or four, you're probably 3 feet from me. And when I have my glasses on, I can't see my screen. I can't see the camera very well. It's blurry. It's too close. And if I tip back a little bit, then it looks ridiculous, right? So I don't wear my glasses when I film. But what's happening, what I'm noticing is, like, when I'm knitting, I'm holding my work probably about, I don't know, 15 to 18 inches from me, in front of me when I'm knitting. And I do wear my glasses, and I'm using the reader part of my glasses to look at my knitting. And what I'm finding is when I look at my work when I'm knitting, specifically, I mean, right now I can just do stockinette basically by not looking at it, but only in larger weight yarn. So I haven't been able to do it yet with socks and fingering weight yarn because it's such tiny stitches, but they're bigger stitches in the DK weight or the worsted or whatever. And so what I'm finding is when I'm doing a lot of close-up work and I'm sitting there doing it for like an hour, either at lunch or in the evening when I'm watching, when the TV's on and I'm kind of sort of paying attention and knitting at the same time, I have, for all of my 20 years, I've looked at my work as I've been knitting. And what I'm finding is, because of maybe the aging process with eyes, I know with eyes that as you get older, one of the reasons that you need readers is because that muscle inside the eye, not the muscle that makes your eye move around like this, but the muscle inside the eye that helps with the eye focusing, it's less elastic and it responds less quickly. So when I am knitting at my usual 15 to 18 inches from me and I'm looking at it the whole time I'm knitting, if I'm doing that for more than, say, 10 minutes, then my eyes get blurry. They get blurry with my glasses on, without my glasses on, and it'll last for probably 20 minutes to a half hour. Maybe not that long, maybe 15 minutes. And I have to do a lot of looking at a distance in order to try and fix it. And that worries me a little bit. So I don't want to have my close work damage my eyesight. And it's really just because I look at my work the whole time I'm knitting. So what I'm trying to do is teach myself how to knit without looking at my work so that I'm doing more distance looking, like up at the TV is pretty far from where I sit. If I can look up at the TV, or if I can be looking around to the people I'm sitting with and talking and chatting or whatever and not looking at my work, it's also a benefit for social reasons, right? So I'm not looking at my work the whole time. And when you're looking at your work the whole time, people think you're not listening. But really, I find I actually listen better when I'm knitting. I'm getting tired of hearing myself talk, honestly, you guys. So I'm going to try and cut this really short. Anyway, I'm trying to teach myself how to knit without looking. And if you have any tips or advice on how to do that, how you learned how to do that, I would love to hear it. I've gotten to the point where I can do all my knit stitches in a DK. I think I'm on a size 6 needle or an 8 needle. I can't remember. I think I'm on an 8 needle. I can totally do stockinette stitch in the round, which is all knit stitches, without looking at it. Can't yet do a purl, so I couldn't do my ribbing without looking at it. I had to look at it to do my ribbing because it's knits and purls. And I don't think I can do like fingering weight yarn yet. I can't, the stitches are so small that when I try to do it on socks or something that's a small gauge, I'm not quite seeing it with my hands, and I'm not catching stitches, I'm dropping stitches, I'm not quite pulling the loop through a stitch before I go on to the next one. I know it's probably just practice and muscle memory, but if you have some tips on how you figured out how to do that, I would love to hear it. If you can put some comments below, that would be awesome. Let's talk about podcasts I'm loving. There's a podcaster out there who I could literally watch all day, every day. I mean, I probably get bored, but she's so good. She's really good. You guys, if you are at all into knitwear designers, yarn dyers, knitting influencers, just seeing an interview between two people, because that's always engaging. I highly recommend you check out Fiber Chats. It's called Fiber Chats. It's on YouTube. The hostess is Irina, and I don't know Irina's last name. I wish I could reach out and hug her. If you're watching, Irina, I wish I could reach out and hug you and tell you how much I truly enjoy your podcasts and what a wonderful job you do in your interviews. You ask just the right questions at just the right point in the conversation. Your style is relaxed and calm, and you are truly listening through the whole interview. I can tell you have some questions prepared ahead of time so that you can keep the flow going really well. You're so good at that. And the people you get on are interesting, and you're able to tease out things from them to make it even more interesting. The other thing I love is that you don't jump in, and when somebody starts talking about something that you have experience with, I'm talking to Irina, but you got to watch her, because her interview style, she does not interrupt. She does not talk over her guest. She's very slow, deliberate, patient, and she's very skilled. She's a very skilled interviewer. There are other interviewers I've seen on YouTube who are high energy, very high energy, and talk over their own guests, and it's kind of narcissistic, but they then, a guest will share something, and then they'll jump into, but this is what I did, and this is how I did it, and this is the project I did, and blah, 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 and I don't really care. We want to hear who you're talking to. This is an interview you're doing. Take yourself out of it, and let's hear what they have to say. Irina is so good at it. She's so good at listening, being patient, letting them finish their thought, waiting, asking the right questions. Her tone is very calm and relaxed and not excitable and and it's more subdued, and it's a pleasure to watch. So if you have time, I highly recommend you check out Fiber Chats with Irina. I think you'll be very happy you did. The ones that really stand out in my mind are Caleb with Drowning in Yarn, the Drowning in Yarn podcast and Instagram account. He does really nice videos too. He has a lot of time to do them, so he does really nice videos. But Irina's interview of him is really, really good. And the guys from Needles at the Ready, she interviews them really well as well. Check her out. I think you'll be really happy you watched her podcast. All right. Woohoo! Now, talk about high energy. We're going to talk about acquisitions. And in acquisitions, we have the giveaway. I have been so lucky. And if you are familiar with Jam PDX on Instagram, check out Jam. I think it's actually JMPDX is the name of the account. I don't know why. I think it's maybe initials of the two artists who make these products. I have been following Jam PDX on Instagram, I don't know, for like 2 years now. I don't know how long they've been making this stuff, but I feel like I've been following it for like 2 years now. And I just found it because I like looking at pottery, at handmade pottery. And so when I do my explore on Instagram, I will sometimes look at pottery, and theirs just came up one time. I want you to see why this got my attention. I have been trying to get one of these mugs. Now they're not cheap, okay? This is art. This is their art. Art is not cheap. Art takes time. Art takes an inner talent that I don't have, and I have huge appreciation for. So that said, they're not cheap. This one mug was almost $50. But for me, this is something that I have been wanting for a long, long time. So look away. If you don't like swear words, you're probably watching the wrong podcast. I don't swear often, but I do swear. And I absolutely love this. One of the things I love about this, it's got a pink interior. This is the petal interior. This is from JMPDX. I love, first of all, it's got the swear word of all swear words on it, and it's done in the most sweet way. It is like the sweetest mug. They use cake decorating techniques in order to do the designs on their mugs, and I mean, like, it takes the swear word of all swear words, the mother of all swear words, and makes it sweet. And hello, the ladybug. That just finishes it off. As far as I'm concerned, I had to have this. So this is one of my acquisitions. I got really lucky and I actually got one of these. So I highly recommend. It says on the bottom,
J, capital J, lowercase a, capital M, PDX on the stamp.
On the bottom. Let's see if you can see that. JAM PDX. I don't know how clear that is. Anyway, that was one of my acquisitions. I was super excited about that. And then, let's see, the other acquisition I have is, where are you? And I haven't opened it yet, so I waited till my podcast. You know I am a fan of Rowan yarn. I am not sponsored. This is legit how I make all those little squares that I do for my my little filled crochet granny squares. I use all the yarns from Rowan. It is a monthly subscription. Oh gosh, I don't have all the details. I get the fingering weight. I think she may have other weights. I'm not really sure. I get the fingering weight, and just feeds my little ASMR soul. Just that crinkle. I just love it. So I haven't opened, this is actually my September one, and I haven't opened it yet. I figure it's October 3rd now, and I figure if you're also in the club, then you've already opened yours, because I got this like 2 weeks ago. So we're going to open it right now, and together we're going to take a look at what September is. So you join, and you don't have to join for like a year or 6 months or 3 months or whatever. You just join. You could get 1 month's worth if you want. Oh gosh. Oh, you guys. So you get this cute little row 1 bag. It's a paper bag. More crinkling. So you get the yarn. Oh my God, I'm dropping everything. And I'm crinkling. You're probably hating me right now. So you get the yarn, which I'll show you in a second. And you also get usually some little treats. This time it's Werther's Originals. Okay. Some little treats in there. And you always get a stitch marker / progress keeper. So this time it is a cowboy boot. So there's, yeah, there you go. Little cowboy boot. So that's a stitch marker right now, but it always comes with a bulb pin. So you can attach the bulb pin to it and turn it into a progress keeper. So they're always just the right size. They're not too big, they're not too heavy, they're not too pokey. They're not going to stick in your project. They're always perfect, and they usually go along in a theme with whoever the yarn dyer is. And it's always an indie yarn dyer. And the other thing I love that she does is she sends you a description of who the yarn dyer is for that month that she's highlighting. And I'm not sure if everybody in the club gets the exact same yarn from the same yarn dyer, or if we're all kind of getting something different. But this time around it is... oh, see? Western Sky Knits. So it's from Western Sky Knits. She gives you a description of the yarn dyer, a little bit of a bio, and who they are, and the content of the yarn. And she always lists all the colors that are included in the 10 grams you got, or the 10 mini skeins you got. And the other thing I love that she does is she pre-cakes them for you. So here is September. Look at those colors. I mean, and even this, look at these three together, and maybe even throw that one in. Can you see some great projects you could do with these? I just saw somebody did the sprocket socks using minis. I think they were 20-gram minis, though. I don't think you could do it with 10-gram minis, because for 2 socks, you probably wouldn't have enough, you probably wouldn't have enough. You probably need 20-gram minis for it. But anyway, you can see some projects. There's a couple more on the back. That right there is even another project. So what she does, and pardon the crinkle, let's see if I can do this quickly. So she'll put the color name, in this case, is raspberry orange. So she'll put the name of the yarn dyer as well as the color in this little ball band. And this is actually a cake of yarn. I don't want to take it apart right now because, then I'll have taken it apart. I don't really want to do that yet. But it's literally a little cake of yarn. So she's already done all the work for you. So she's put together this beautiful little scrappy set, a sampler from this particular yarn dyer in whatever weight yarn you've chosen. I've chosen fingering weight. And she provides a little bit of, maybe some of each of the colors this yarn dyer's got. Always 10. There's always 10 of these in here. So this yarn dyer actually might have more than 10 colors of yarn, but the little kits that you get every month are going to be 10 different colors. And I have not been disappointed. Every single month I have loved the yarn that I've gotten. The quality is always very good. She gets them from very good dyers. And the nice thing is, I've learned about some new dyers that I had not heard about before because of this monthly subscription. And like I said, you can stop it. You could just get 1 month if you want, just to try it out. You could get 3 months. You don't have to sign up for any particular months. You just sign up, and then you can, at any time, you can either suspend it or you can cancel it. So like last year, I suspended during the holidays and I'll probably do it again coming up here. I'll probably do another suspension during the holidays and then back up again after the new year. But that's the thing I love, is you're not committed to like having to do this for every month for 3 months or 6 months or 9 months or a year or whatever. You can suspend it, restart it. You don't have it in the budget that month. You got to be a little more careful with your funds. Then you can suspend it for that month. You have to remember to do it because I think it's at the beginning of the month when she bills, and then she ships not long. I think she bills somewhere around the first of the month, and then I think it ships like the next week. I usually get it by like the second or third week of the month. And I love it. So if you're looking to kind of get exposed to some yarn dyers you've never tried their products out before, this is a great way to do it. Sometimes you get them from somebody you recognize, a yarn dyer you recognize, but for the most part they've been from dyers that I've not tried before, so it's been a lot of fun. So, drum roll. All that said, she has been so generous at Row 1 Yarn, and look at this. I've got one for you guys. I am not going to open it because part of the fun with these monthly shipments is that, like, I don't see it ahead of time. She will put it on her Instagram after it ships out. She'll put it on her Instagram kind of like as a spoiler. I don't look at it. Till I get it and I open it, I do not look at it. So I don't know what I'm going to get when I open it. I just love the surprise of it. So I'm not going to open this and show you what's in here. All I can tell you, and you can kind of see through it, it is some super fun colors. Like, I hope this is next month's colors, because this is, and she even has, I mean, this is her usual. It's got something fun in here, some kind of fun surprise in here. These colors look amazing. Come on. Oh my God, you have no idea how hard it is to not keep this and open it and use these. This is our giveaway. So here are the rules. There are no rules other than post a comment below, and I will use a random number generator, and I will randomly pick a comment below, and that person is going to win the prize. So I will draw the prize during my next video. I really am going to try to do it within the next week or two. It may be that I'm just posting a giveaway video and that's it, and it's going to be a short, sweet one. That might be it. But within the next 2 weeks, I'm going to draw the winner. So let's pick a date, because I want to give you guys an opportunity to be able to get in on this. So today is the 3rd of October. We will draw the winner on the 17th. I will draw the winner on the 17th of October, and I will post the video that day. It may be an episode or it may be just a short video, but I will draw the winner on the 17th of October. Let me just make sure I don't have anything planned for that day. I see nothing on my calendar. So the 17th of October, I'm going to draw the winner. I hope you're the winner. I hope you love this as much as I do. If nothing else, you're going to get exposed to a really great yarn dyer. Those colors look super saturated and fun. So let's see. What do I have next? So the next episode, like I said, when I do my next episode, we're going to talk about self-care, and knitting is self-care. So be ready for that conversation. And then maybe the episode after that, maybe I'll flip-flop them, I'm not really sure. I also have asked my OG knitting buddy, Miss Christy, to join me on my next video. We'll probably do it via Zoom call that I'll record and then I'll post. But this is my friend Christy, who I've known for a long, long time. We no longer live in the same town. We practically don't even live on the same continent anymore. But she and I pretty much started knitting at the same time and came together as new knitters with some other knitters and kind of learned along the way. And I have not sat and knit with Christy in probably, I've lived here for I think 13 years. So maybe 13 years since I've sat and knit with Christy, maybe a little longer. So this is an opportunity for Christy and I to kind of reconnect and talk about, what we've been knitting over the years, even though we've kind of stayed in touch over that. And we follow each other on Instagram or whatever. But I'm going to sit and chat with my friend Christy. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. She's a hoot. She's so much fun. I love chatting with her, and I think you will enjoy it too. So that's all I got. Tired of hearing myself talk. So hopefully you're not tired of hearing me talk. If you are, I hope you're watching this in little nuggets, because that's what I do when I watch mine, is watch them in little nuggets. Anyway, I'll see you in a couple of weeks. I'll see you for sure on the 17th and post the winner of the giveaway. And good luck. And if you enjoy what you're watching here, please do give me a thumbs up down below. And don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to click the little bell so that you catch a notification every time I post a video. I love sitting here and chatting with you guys. Who knows what room I'll be in next or where I'll be in the room or whatever, but I love spending time with you guys, and hopefully you've enjoyed this time too. So talk to you soon, guys. Bye.